Are you struggling with singing? Are you feeling pain in your throat from the singing? Or are you looking for how to become better and save your voice? Maybe you've even experienced embarrassing voice cracks like I have. If so, you've come to the right place. I'm going to help you on your journey for better sounding and pain-free singing. At this end of this video, I'll be sharing how I adjusted the song Ordinary by Alex Warren for my specific voice type, and I'll also be talking about why that's important for saving your voice. If this sounds interesting to you, please stay tuned. Item number 1 on saving your voice, the first thing you need to do is you need to understand that your voice is really just, in your vocal cords, or just another instrument. And it's made up of muscle and ligament and mucosal covering, whatever that is. But essentially, you have to treat it like it's part of your body, and you don't want to damage that. And the point here is that your vocal cords can become overworked, they can become inflamed, and then you can even damage your vocal cords, and then you won't be able to sing at all. You want to be able to learn how to use your voice, but not abuse it. So you need to take care of it. So that's the first thing you need to understand. Just real quick, if you could like, comment, or subscribe this video, it would really help me in growing my channel. Let's move on to item number 2. So what are some ways that you can keep your voice healthy? So I'm going to start with that, and then we'll talk about building your voice. So the first thing that I do is I always have water, and you can use water, warm tea, honey, so anything that will protect your throat. And it's interesting because I actually got this particular advice from a masterclass by Christina Aguilera, and she talks a lot about how to save your voice because it is so important. You're not going to be able to perform if your voice is, if your throat is too dry, or you've somehow damaged it, or you've strained it so much that you can't sing. The next thing that I want to talk about is the idea of relaxing and being more relaxed when you're singing, to not be so stressed out. And so doing some sort of relaxation, some breathing, or something like that before you actually start singing can be helpful. The third thing I'm going to suggest seems obvious. You should warm up, just like you would in any kind of athletics that you're going to do. You usually do a warm up. You want to move around a little bit before you start lifting heavy weights, or go for a 5-mile run. You want to ease into it, and the same thing goes for your voice. I suggest people do things like humming is a good way to begin. You can also, I call it doo-wops, or do-do-do, da-da-da-da. You're using the voice, but not too harshly. And then also, when I talk about easing into the singing, that is, you need to start with maybe not too loud. So start with a little bit softer singing, and then increase as you start to warm up. So those are all my tips for my warm-up styles. I'm not going to go through any specific warm-ups, but that gives you the idea of where to begin. And then the last thing on keeping healthy is that if you do get fatigued, make sure that you rest. And I'll give an example. I actually last year did a challenge where I wrote 90 songs in 30 days. And through that challenge, you're having to come up with lyrics and singing at the same time, and you're experimenting and trying a lot of different things. And by the end of that challenge, I almost nearly lost my voice because I was singing so much each day. And it wasn't so much the time frame, because I was only singing about an hour a day. It was the way that I was singing, and kind of all this experimentation wasn't great for my voice. I was able to rest a few days and then get right back into it, because you don't want to rest too long, because the idea here is that the more you sing, the more strong you'll be able to sing. And so you have to build those, we'll call it muscles, up slowly, but it's essentially your vocal cords getting used to that and adjusting over time. Let's move into quickly the building idea, and that is that you need to gradually expand your vocal range, and you need to do it slowly, and you need to know your limits. You don't want to try to hit notes that are impossible for you. You want to keep it simple, and you want to just try to stay within your range, but maybe pushing that outer edge, or maybe have a goal that's a few notes higher than what you are now, and try to move into that area. but definitely don't try to do that until you've warmed up. And if you also don't want to strain your voice. Increasing the time that you're singing each day gradually can also help, because you'll get more stamina in your singing abilities. Most people aren't going and sitting down and singing for hours on end each day. For me, typically after an hour or so, I have sort of had enough and need to go take a break. You'll notice that most musicians, when they're on stage, somewhere in there they take a break after 45 minutes or so, because they need to relax their voice and refresh. The next item, number 3, is being able to know what the signs of fatigue are. And the example that I shared at the beginning of me sort of losing my voice in the middle of singing, you don't want that. It's not very comfortable, and then you feel like a bit defeated because now you're at the point you can't sing at all. I'll explain to you the reasons this happened to me and the signs that you can look for before you sort of hit that breaking point. So for me, I've been singing probably an hour. I sang a number of different songs with different vocal ranges. I noticed that my throat was starting to feel tight, but I sort of ignored it. So don't ignore the signs. And it's also, the other indicator is that it's harder to hit the notes accurately. So you'll notice that it's just harder. You're not getting the same sound out of your vocal cords that you should be getting. Ultimately, if you don't sort of listen to these signs that, maybe I should pause and take a break for some time, or I should get some water to drink or something to then, reset your vocal cords, you're going to hit this breaking point, and nobody really wants that. The other thing is that, for me, I don't know why I didn't listen to my own advice, but it is what it is. So, it happens to everybody. You kind of push yourself a little more than you should. And don't worry if that happens to you. Just take it as a sign, okay, this is really now the end. And it's okay to be tired. I mean, this is a normal part of being a singer. And, if you think about someone who's training to run a marathon, they don't get up on the morning of the marathon and go out and run 26 miles. They put months of work in before that to train and practice and increase their mileage over time. It's no different with your voice. You can't just get up and say, I'm going to sing today, and your voice is great. It just doesn't work like that. So just remember that you need to take care of your vocal cords. And the same way, if you think of your vocal cords as an instrument, you wouldn't leave your guitar outside, so why would you subject your voice to, the strain and potential problems? One thing I didn't talk about also, the air quality. Some people, if they're in a smoky environment, that can really hamper their ability to sing, so keep that in mind. Another thing I wanted to comment on is that after you've been singing for some period of time and you go to do something else, you're going to be tired. You're going to feel a bit drained. You may feel like you just ran 5 miles, because through the time that you're singing, you are using your lung capacity. Don't be surprised by that. You should feel a bit relaxed afterward. But yeah, that's a totally normal feeling. Feeling an overly sore throat, that is not normal. So that requires a little bit more rest than, say, 5-10 minutes or something like that. You're going to have to rest overnight until the next day. And within a day or two, any kind of strain should clear up, and if it doesn't, then you're kind of into another place. The fourth thing I want to talk about, which to me I think is the most important and overlooked part of singing, and that's finding the right songs for your voice. Now, I have a whole other video that's just on this topic of choosing the right song for you. I'll include a link in the description below for that. But I do want to kind of walk through an example of how to change a song for me. And I just did it today, so I thought it was a good example to bring up. Hopefully most of you know the song Ordinary by Alex Warren. It seems to be everywhere these days. One of my kids asked me to play a popular song, so this was what they requested. So I'm going to walk through the steps that I typically would go through. I looked up the range of the song, and what is the range? The range is the highest and lowest note you need to be able to sing in order to sing this song. For this song, the low is at the note A3 and the high is A5. Now, my range is outside of that, so I can't really sing quite that high. The A5 is a bit high for me, but I can sing a little bit lower than the A3. That being said, I need to just shift how I'm singing it to be a little bit lower, and then I should be able to sing it without a problem. So this is the first problem I encountered with the song. The second problem was actually that, I'm going to admit it, I'm not the greatest guitar player in the world. I can play enough to play and sing and execute a song, but I can't play every note. I can't play every song. I also struggle with bar chords, so that will be probably another video in the near future. I wanted to be able to find chords that I could play so then I could still sing the song. So what I ended up doing is I was able to adjust the song using a transpose feature in Ultimate Guitar app. I took it down what is called 7 like half steps, or 7 they call it semitones, so it's half of a note. And that was fine, but then it got to the point where it was too low. So I adjusted it to the point where it had chords that I could play, but now it was a little bit too low. So then from there, I said, well, now what can I do? Well, I can pull out the guitar, and then I'm going to show you what I ended up doing. So the next thing I did, I have transposed to -7, but it's still too low. So I need to go a little bit higher, which means to go higher, I need to go down a number of frets to make it higher. So -7 is with nothing, and then -6 would be fret 1, and -5 is fret 2. And so somewhere in here is the something that's going to work for me. So then I can just play. All right, this is a version with the -7 and no capo here. Let's see if this works. You're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down till we're dead and buried on the edge of your knife. You're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down till we're dead and buried on the edge of your knife. Staying drunk on your vine, the cloud. All right, this is a minus. This would be a -5 transposition. You're taking me out of the ordinary. I want you laying me down till we're dead and buried on the edge of your knife. Staying. All right, you got to see some real experimentation with trying to figure out exactly what is the best spot for the transposition for my voice. I think I kind of settled on 5, but I'd like to know what you think. If there's any one of them that sounded really better than the other. Obviously, I'm still learning this song, so it's not a perfect example here. It was just, I thought it was a fun little test that I could share with you. And you check out my other video that provides more details about how to choose the best song for your voice. So what I didn't really talk about, I just randomly picked this song and then tried to customize it for my voice. But you can also go out there and once you know your vocal range, choose a specific song that fits your range. Maybe you are also start to learn other singers that fit in your vocal range, and then it's a little bit easier to choose something good for you, not just any random song. And if you like this type of content, please make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. I'll be putting out new videos every week. I really appreciate you watching this today, and I will see you next time.